Where are the frogs? Well, yes, these are winter images, but clearly the frogs have to be here somewhere because frogs live multiple years. They must overwinter. Many frogs can live 3 years, some live more than 5 years, and some, such as bullfrogs, green frogs, and American toads, can live 10 years. So they must be here overwintering. Where are they? Reptiles and amphibians undergo brumation rather than true hibernation. It is not their body which is choosing to slow its metabolic rate, but rather this is being forced upon them by the temperature. And unlike true hibernation, amphibians undergoing brumation, they can become active simply if it becomes warm enough and they can rouse rather quickly compared to those who are truly hibernating. And so with reptiles and amphibians, we use the term brumation. Not all frogs overwinter the same. Some will spend their winters at the bottom of a pond or a lake, preferably one which is well oxygenated. This is because they will not be breathing oxygen through their nose into their lungs, but rather will be performing gas exchange through their skin. While they may be partially buried at least some of the time, they cannot be completely buried the way that a turtle would because they need their skin to perform gas exchange. They may move around from time to time. Bullfrogs are not only overwintering as adults but also as tadpoles. Tadpoles may take 2 years before becoming frogs, although it is easier for tadpoles since they have a higher surface area to volume ratio. Green frogs also overwinter as tadpoles, and the same is true of them. Pickerel frogs are a bit smaller. They do not overwinter as tadpoles, and they are more likely to be found at, say, the bottom of a well-oxygenated stream. So these aquatic frogs are overwintering in bodies of water where they are not eating typically. Their metabolism and their breathing is reduced and they are breathing through their skin. While many frogs do not burrow well, toads are very good at burrowing. And so in addition to burrowing throughout the summer, as winter approaches, they simply dig a deeper burrow, perhaps in the same area they spent the summer. They often dig facing backwards, pushing through the soil with their hind feet, and their burrows may be 1.5 feet deep, trying to get below the frost line so that their bodies will not freeze. There are several types of frog in the northeastern United States, including wood frogs, spring peepers, and gray tree frogs, which can actually freeze. They do not have to dig deep burrows the way that toads do. They can simply burrow into leaf litter, as in the case of, say, wood frogs. Spring peepers can burrow into leaf litter or mud near a wetland or even in a crevice in tree bark. Gray tree frogs can burrow into leaf litter, or they could remain sheltered in a tree. And they actually can freeze. 70% of their body can freeze because the high levels of glucose and glycogen, and in the case of tree frogs, glycerol, which are put into their blood, can be taken into cells and function as an antifreeze, preventing the cells from freezing, which would cause their death. During this time, their heartbeat, breathing, and even brain function may stop, and they may appear as dead until the temperature warms, in which case they thaw and then can resume normal activity. And so frogs in our area vary in their strategies in how they will overwinter.